Psalm chapter 42 is a profound exploration of the human experience of spiritual longing, capturing the raw ache of a soul disconnected from the presence of the divine. Written as a Maskil, a song of contemplation, it voices the internal battle between deep sorrow and the necessity of hope. The psalmist, likely an exile far from the temple in Jerusalem, describes a thirst that is visceral and consuming, comparing his desire for God to a deer panting for cooling water amidst a dry, desolate wilderness. The emotional landscape of the psalm is defined by the tension between external circumstances and internal memory. The speaker is haunted by the mockery of his adversaries, who incessantly taunt him with the stinging question, "Where is your God?" This external ridicule acts as a catalyst for his internal grief, leading him to pour out his soul while remembering the communal joy he once experienced during sacred pilgrimages. These memories, while bittersweet, serve as both a reminder of what is lost and a foundation for his enduring faith. At the heart of the passage lies the famous refrain, a recurring dialogue between the psalmist and his own spirit. He confronts his despondency directly, asking why he is so cast down and why he is filled with such internal turmoil. This moment of self-reflection is pivotal. It is not a dismissal of pain, but an intentional redirection of focus. By commanding his soul to hope in God, he exercises the discipline of choosing perspective even when his circumstances provide no tangible evidence of relief. The language of the psalm moves from individual lament through a more overwhelming sense of chaos, using the imagery of crashing waves and deep torrents to describe his psychological state. It is as if the psalmist feels physically submerged by the weight of his afflictions, echoing the feeling of being abandoned at the very bottom of the ocean. Yet, even in this metaphorical abyss, he acknowledges that these waves are not outside of God's sovereignty, creating a bridge between his present agony and his ultimate trust. Despite the intensity of the struggle, the psalm concludes with a forward-looking posture of praise. The psalmist anticipates a future moment of restoration where he will again find the strength to lift his voice in thanksgiving. He frames his eventual healing not as a result of his own strength, but as a gift of light and truth emanating from God. This transition demonstrates that faith is not the absence of doubt or distress, but the persistent act of looking toward the source of hope despite the darkness. Ultimately, Psalm chapter 42 stands as a timeless blueprint for processing suffering with honesty and spiritual courage. It grants permission to be vulnerable, acknowledging that deep periods of spiritual isolation are not necessarily indicative of failure, but rather part of the common human journey. By anchoring his identity in his relationship with the Creator rather than in his shifting emotions, the psalmist provides a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit when it is anchored in steadfast hope.